Let's now go to Ali Hashim, who's live for us in Tehran. That's Iran's capital. Ali, Iran determined that it won't be going to these talks unless a precondition is met. What can you tell us about that precondition? But also, what are we hearing from Iran as that ceasefire deadline looms?
Well, regarding the precondition is lifting the blockade on Iranian ports. This is the main condition the Iranians were asking for to be implemented for them to take part in the talks in Pakistan. However, they've been accusing the United States of violating the ceasefire by attacking one of the Iranian ships. And of course, now, given the fact we're just few hours away from the deadline, from the end of the ceasefire, anticipation of what could happen and concerns also, and there are also defiant messages coming. I just received now from the page of the new Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei. They posted a video from the Air Force to the Navy. Iran's armed forces are ready to bring the enemy to its knees. It's part of his latest statement on the 18th of April. But they've posted this quote with a video showing planes, rockets, and Iranian armed forces. In the same way, the drones of Iran's army strike the U.S. and Zionist murderers like lightning. So this is all about a military message. Also, in parallel, there was the commander of the IRGC Aerospace Force also saying that Iran is ready, and actually warning the Gulf countries, whom he called our southern neighbors, that if their facilities are being used by the U.S. to attack Iran, then there'll be no oil there. This is another message. Now, the most, let me say, significant message is the one from Abbas Araghchi. Let me read it from the tweet he posted earlier today. So he actually mentions that Iran is capable of defending its own interests, and that it's capable of creating its own deterrence in a way or another. And additional to that, let me just get to the tweet. Sorry, it took me some time. Blockading Iranian ports is an act of war and thus a violation of the ceasefire. Striking a commercial vessel and taking its crew hostage is an even greater violation. Iran knows how to neutralize restrictions, how to defend its interests, and how to resist bullying. So a lot of defiant messages from here, from Tehran, and of course what we know and everybody knows for now is that Iran till the moment hasn't taken the decision to go to Islamabad. Rather, we can say it in a different way. Iran has decided not to go to Islamabad till its conditions are met, and for now these conditions are not met, despite the ambassador of Iran to the United Nations, Saidi Ravani, saying that there is a possibility that the blockade could be lifted. And this is all part of what is circulating here and there. But the real fact now is that we're just few hours from the end of the ceasefire, and everyone is waiting to see whether this is the beginning of a new chapter, the beginning of a new phase of hostilities, or, as Osama was saying, diplomacy could prevail.
All right, thank you very much, Ali Hashim. Actually, Ali, can you stay here? Because it seems we are receiving and hearing that Donald Trump has extended the ceasefire. We'll try and get more information on that. But yeah, it seems that he is extending the ceasefire, not clear for how long. What do we think the reaction is going to be from Iran with this? Could it sway it to go to the negotiating table?
I'm just reading it now. If you don't mind, I can read the tweet.
Please go ahead,
or the post. So he says, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Hashim Munir, the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and, in all other respects, remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. So it seems that, he extended the ceasefire, but without saying till when. And this puts Iran actually in an odd position, because it's now in a situation of no war, no peace. There's a ceasefire. It's not in a position that it wants to talk as far as the blockade is there, and he says the blockade will continue. It's really very complicated now.
All right, thank you very much, Ali Hashim there. Now let's go to our guest. We're going to speak to Jason Campbell, a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute. He's also a former Pentagon official, joining us live now from Washington, D.C. So there you have it, Jason. We're just hearing now the statement from Donald Trump, the president. I'm just going to read it out again, not all of it, but just some of it, based on the fact he says that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Hashim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, of course, of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. What's your sort of immediate reaction upon hearing that?
Well, I think the tone reflects some of the face-saving messaging that the White House has been trying to convey for a number of weeks now. Anytime there was going to be talks, it was the Iranians have been calling for this, or they've been begging for this. So the first part of the statement, sends the message that the Iranian government remains somewhat fractured, which is certainly the case, and tries to convey that it is the Iranians now ceasefire to take control of, and the ball is back in their court in terms of posing a new set of points or an agenda for any upcoming talks.
All right, Jason, do stay with us just on standby there, because obviously this has just come in and we want to go to our correspondent, our chief US correspondent, Alan Fisher from Washington, D.C. Alan, this extension of a ceasefire comes really just as this ceasefire is meant to end on Wednesday, cutting it very fine there.
Well, we were looking to find out what exactly Donald Trump would do next. He'd set roughly 3 different deadlines, and we thought the last one was probably going to be midnight GMT, about 8 p.m. here in the United States, and waiting to find out what was going to happen next. He had a long conversation with J.D. Vance, the Vice President, in the Oval Office. Donald Trump is back there at the moment. That's where he sent the Truth Social post from. The question, of course, now that comes up is that who was Donald Trump talking to on Friday? Remember, we had a flurry of social media posts when he said that the Iranians had agreed to no enriched uranium. They were not going to pursue a nuclear program. They were not going to seek money from the United States. They were going to let American troops into Iran to recover what Donald Trump calls nuclear dust, which is the enriched uranium. And Donald Trump said they were within hours of getting a deal and it would happen very soon. So the question is, who was he speaking to? But of course, this gives hope that there may still be some ground there for a deal in the future. How that'll look, we're not entirely sure, because it's clear that the Iranians haven't agreed to any of the things that Donald Trump said, or if they have, they haven't publicly acknowledged it, and there might still be a bit of work to do. So for the moment, J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they stay here in Washington, D.C. The good news for the people in Iran at the moment is that the ceasefire continues, but Donald Trump will be looking for something that he can present as a win, and an ongoing ceasefire like this isn't it.
All right, thanks very much, Alan. We're obviously just finding out about this new statement by Donald Trump. I want to come back to Jason Campbell there, because Jason, as Alan Fisher, chief US correspondent, is saying, who has Donald Trump been speaking to in Iran? He mentions in this statement that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, and he says that the military will continue the blockade. He says that they will hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. So two things here. He's implying that the Iranians are not unified, those that are in charge, whoever they are, and that they don't have a unified proposal. What do you think?
Well, publicly at least, the Iranians have conveyed their 10-point proposal that has been at least out now for a month. It not unlike the U.S. 15-point plan, is largely just a rehashing of the more maximalist demands that they're making. Again, there has been some speculation on who in Iran, given all the changeover of leadership over the past few weeks, is indeed calling the shots, and it seems the White House is trying to accentuate that and try to apply some pressure on getting Tehran to provide a more detailed and/or maybe softer list of negotiating points for any subsequent talks.